this Maimon is, as you can see, Shabbos Pashas ki-tשכ, Tes Zayin Oder, which is today. So that's always nice to get regards on the very same day. Ki-tשכ Asroish B'nei Yisrael. So this was the 2 days after Purim. So when you count the Yidden, raise their heads, Ze Yitnu Samachas HaShekel, they should give half a shekel, Estim Ger HaShekel. A shekel is 20 gerah. You do have the l'chura kiven shesichim litenak machsa shekel, so it's not the question. Since the commandment is to give half a shekel, man the geya kamo shekel shalom. Why is it relevant that the pasuk says how much a whole shekel is? Just state, give the half. And the pasuk simply said, this is what they should give, eser gerah, the value of 10 gerah, without stating that a whole one is 20. But right, this was similar. There's the second Maimon on Machsa Shekel. Mavuba is B'Doshich explained in Droshich Sidus. Shekasher Adam Avidosi Besakoiches Nafshe, when a person serves the Eibishter with his 10 faculties, the 10 koiches of his nefesh, Seichel and Midas, Shezeo Eser Geira Shalamata, that's the 10 lower Geira, referring to the Yid. So then, as in Leisim Legamba Eser Gerim Shalamayla, then heaven, the Eibishter gives him a corresponding 10 Geira. And then, by Deze Nasa Estim Geira Shekel, and that creates the 20 Geira. So the reason the pasuk mentions 20 Geira is actually the objective. You give your half, and I'll give mine. Vanya Shagamba Eser Geira Nitamilamayla. That means that the 10 gerah is given from above, misyachas v'shayich, a love. It's not just 10 gerah unrelated to his personal avodah. No, it's elicited by his avodah. Kivin shinyin zeh b'yedei akdomas avidosoi. The 10 gerah that he gets from above comes as a result of prefacing first his avodah, but as a gerah shalamata, his 10 gerah. So the idea is that it's misyachas v'shayich elov, as opposed to because a blanket revelation that you may benefit from. No, this is personal. This is to you. And this is reflected and also in the beginning of the parasha. As an introduction to the commandment. What does the pasuk say? Ki-tשכ Esroish B'nei Yisrael, when you lift up the heads of Eden. Which is a strange expression. We're talking about counting them. Tisa daikal, raise up, Loshen Hagboa, lifting, V'leinema b'Loshen minyan, and the pasuk didn't say when you count, using the expression of minyan, of counting. Because Hainu shetzich eliyas aliyah v'Hagboa, the Yid is asked to lift himself, the darge nailis yoyse, to a higher level, mimash b'chelis adam lavi ba'atzma l'idei avidosa. This is the command to Moishe, to lift Eden. So not you lift yourself. Eden should be lifted to a level that otherwise is not attainable through their own avodah. Now, where is that? Oh, so it goes like this. First, you give your eser gerah. You're saying like this, and the ki-tשכ is the result. The ki-tשכ is the result of the eser gerah that the Jew receives from heaven. The result is he's lifted. These 10 gerah that heaven gives him is a gift, as it were, beyond that which he could reach on his own. This is the 10 gerah that comes from above. After his avodah, that which he gives through his own effort. Then the Eibishter gives, and that result of that is ki-tשכ. We're clear? Yeah? What's being lifted is the head. That the Yid is being elevated to the level of Rosh. So it's not so much raising their head, but raising to their head, he's saying here. That's how he's touching it, to the level of Rosh. That's the 10 gerah that is given from above, so it's conveyed in the two words of the pasuk, both ki-tשכ and the inyan of rosh, head. So let's be clear. So he's saying here that the rosh is what's granted. Yeah, you get that right? It's this level that's given from above. So we just said now that the rosh is what's granted now, but the simple reading of the pasuk is you have to lift the head. So there's two, he's saying now there's two levels of rosh. The high no shetzorech al says pchinas harosh. So the pasuk is saying you have to lift it. So what's that referring to? That's our avodah. That's not granted. Ki-תשכ, you have to lift, right? That's referring to the head of Yid as they are the shamas begufim. Shalagabe shoroshim l'mayla, as we learned in the previous maamar, relative to the source of the neshama above. So it's the highest level we have consciously, but relative to the source above, it's a b'chinas regel. It's the regel. What's the b'chinas regel? The level of the neshama in the guf. The rosh down here compared to the rosh up there is a regel. So it seems he's saying like the ki-tשכ as Rosh first started saying is that's what heaven gives. But then there's also the avodah of ki-tשכ as Rosh that's referring to our avodah daka down here. We have to elevate ourselves by giving everything, using seichel, all of our faculties. The result is the eser geira from above, which is the level of rosh above. In other words, the neshama, the shoresh neshama, is then bequeathed to us, which is rosh relative to the neshama down here, which overall is called regel compared to the neshama above. But the commandment is you give everything you got, your highest faculties relative to the neshama above. It's a taka regel, but you give as much as we can down here completely. So the promise is the eser geira, which means the rosh from above, the rosh and neshama, the head of the true transcendent levels of the neshama, which we cannot access normally, are granted to the Yid. So that it's clearer now what he said before, that the eser geira is something which is misyaches v'shayach elov. It's not just a level above, the 10 spheres above, as it were, but it's his personal revelation. Why? Because it's his own neshama that's being revealed to him. His rosh. Yeah, are we somewhat clear? Yes. Yeshtem kama darges mibchinas haregel ad bchinas harosh. So it is talking about the neshama lamata. Overall, it's regel, but within that, compared to the neshama above, there's the chayin yechida, the high levels of the neshama. But in the level down here, there's also many sub-levels. In the neshama down here, Yaakov, as he explains it, explaining the name Yaakov, Shur Yud Akev. It's the level of Yud, but where does it come? It comes into the heel, regel. Meaning, and Yud, of course, is the highest level. It's all relative. There's the higher levels and lower levels, the head and the feet, as it were, within each level. Overall, all the levels down here are regel compared to above, but down here there is the rosh regel. So the commandment is you have to lift the heads. The level of rosh down here. That's the highest faculty that we have, our minds. Down here in the Shabbos and Gufim, that has to be elevated to the true level of rosh that is given by heaven. That's the true rosh. So simple language, we're in touch. Our pnimis on the shama This is all the hemshech, the Achen and Ponim of the previous Maimon. The Pnimis and Neshama is inaccessible per se. The Pnimis of our Neshama we cannot access. It's granted to us. But when is it granted to us? When we give it all we've got, our minds, our hearts, our behavior, all 10 koiches and nefesh, lifting our head, straining the head to understand what chassidus. It means more than that. It means just that our minds be filled with the right things. So you give all you got, ki-tשכ reish lamata, then you teaching ki-tשכ reish. Second layer, you're given the reish melamayla, and that equals the esrim geira. So the words ki-tשכ reish is both the commandment and the consequence. Clear? Yes? We're beating it now in Avodah is base. Beating in like we said before, the Maimar put him. This is the hemshech to the Maimar of Purim. V'yoibin es hadasa. Binya regel, reish v'regel, sheben neshama. So explained before, with respect to the reish regel of neshama. Again, that's the ponim and the acher, the essence and the external level. So explained then, sheloi kol ha-neshama mislabeshes b'guf. The entire neshama is not fused and descends to the body. That's not so. El raka orah mixes ma neshama. It's only a reflection. And a little bit of the neshama, hushim mislapesh b'guf. That's what's invested and fused with the body. Avol iked etzem neshama. That's the ponim. That's hadasa. L'maylo remains above. Now we're saying now that is granted to the yid when you give it all you got. V'zeh achilik bein reish v'regel sheben neshama. So this is the difference between the head level and the foot level of the neshama. The foot level, this is a glimmer and a little bit of, as it were, of the neshama. That's invested in the body. But the head is the essence of the neshama, beyond being invested and fusing with the physical body. What's all of this in avodah? So regel of the neshama is serving God with our conscious faculties. This is what he said in the Maimon there. This is his bonus. The various levels of his bonus that engender love with all your heart, and then even a higher his bonus is mizbeinin in godliness, the transcendent levels of godliness. So that is b'chol nafshecha. So there are two levels. These loves are created these bonus by meditating and appreciating First, the meditation is godliness that's invested in creation. The world is a beautiful place, and he understands the beauty of it all is a likus. And then, the head of the neshama, this is all in his avodah. That is serving the Eibishter with transcendent koiches, meaning sorry. Yet, so the first level is nafshecha, and that's all the regel. And the Rosh Hashanah is the avodah mitzad koiches makifim. Shabo al-yedei his bond is ba'aflos oirin sof. But now we said actually the previous mind, but it's not his bond; it was a gift. Let's go further, which is what he's saying now too. But let's go further. So he's saying now that the first two avos are his bonus, and that's a likus that is shaykh to the world. And what's b'chol ba'itcha? That's the Rosh Hashanah. That's the avodah mitzad koiches makifim, which is manifest in b'chol ba'itcha. This is a meditation in the wonder of godliness, as it were, beyond creation. Let me just look further a little bit. Okay. Okay, so he's going to get elaboration. Yeah. So he's saying he's translating all of this in Avodah, even that which we're saying that comes as a gift from above. But the Eibishter always wants us to participate, so it's truly bepnimius. So he finished saying that when you give your esagera, then you're granted esagera milamayla. But in Avodah, even this esagera milamayla that heaven grants, he's going to explain now, that's the Avodah b'chol ma'itcha, and it's an interplay of a gift, but still there's the Avodah. Now, what's the Avodah? Is it going to say, even though Bemis, he said the previous mind is not his bonus, it's hakara. And he was saying he is, but he's going to now qualify. It's not his bonus in the conventional sense. It's more hakara his bonus. He doesn't use these oisias here, but that's what he said in the previous mind. And you'll see. And then the parent just looked at it. He's saying that here as well. So let's go to the journey. Let's see it. So what I'm saying is, in the one hand, he's saying b'chol moitcha is an avodah, which means that I'm achieving this. On the other hand, it's a gift. So it is granted above this level b'chol moitcha, but there's the openness to it. There's the avodah. There is an appreciation that a person has to have. He calls it in the previous mind hakara, and here he says a little bit differently. It's just we'll see inside. So let's continue now. But pratis yoseh, yeah. Hinde. Because he said, let's be clear. He said, b'chol levavach v'chol nafshecha is a meditation in godliness, shaykh to the world. And that's keiches, that's the regel of the neshama. The roish of the neshama, that's an avodah and his bonus from the transcendent faculties of the soul, keiches makifim, not seichel and midas. That's all regel. Keiches makifim is rotzen, tainuk, transcendent soul powers, which is more not so much intellectual, but hakora, but it's all experience where in the mind. That's where everything is entertained, everything. So that's b'chol ba'itcha, and that he says is these bonnet is ba'aflo itself. Now he's going to qualify what that means now, because b'chol nafshech is also ba'aflo, but this is he's going to draw the difference between the b'chol nafshecha and b'chol ba'itcha, which is both b'chol ba'itcha, somewhat of his bonus and a gift. Now he's going to spell that out. But said in more detail. We speak about the regel. Shehi avodah for the lower level invested in the body consciousness. The conscious faculties of the soul. Even within consciousness, there are those koiches which are bislapshus, understanding, logic, rational feelings. And that engenders a love. Love fills the heart. So what is this specifically? What's these bonus? He's meditating on godliness, invested in creation. He looks at all of creation and sees its extraordinary properties and recognizes they're all an expression of alikus. So that's b'chol avavcha. Now then, so now what's the higher avodah? We call this koiches makifim because it's not rationale, logic. It can be seen and grasped and defined. So this meditation is beyond, but still, this meditation, it's going to be different. This is a meditation on the transcendent, like we say, infinite. Infinite means not finite. It's appreciated by the fact that it's not finite. And the intellect can appreciate this. Not directly, indirectly.
Now you're saying b'chol nafshecha.
This is b'chol nafshecha. Huh?
Before you're saying together b'chol levavcha, b'chol nafshecha.
You may have a pratis yoseh.
In that.
Yes, but pratis yoseh, it's a likus shaykh to the world and transcendent, but it's also shaykh.
Still in this regel.
Still regel. That's still regel shabbanasham. So what's he meditating? He's meditating, again, this concept of infinite, which is on the one hand beyond, but it's measured and appreciated by the fact that it's beyond finitude. So it has an element of seichel to it, an element of islapshus. Again, it's not a direct description, it's an indirect description. Shezeh avodah b'chol nafshecha. That's the avodah b'chol nafshecha. Shebo ma'isbonenus comes through meditating a sha'idin sof from mufulam by oilemus. How godliness is beyond, but if to appreciate here. This appreciation that godliness is beyond is greater. The greater the intellect one has, the more this haflah is. So therefore, it's tethered to seichel. It's tethered to seichel. The one who understands what finite means and what infinite means, and that's these are relatively very elastic terms. The greater the appreciation of the haflah. Right? So it's takar and it's muflam ba'olamus, but it's appreciated by seichel, and the greater the seichel, the greater the appreciation. Atzilis appreciates that flow of itself more than the mabriya, etc., and lower levels. The fishachayis halikishim is labish ba'olamus. What's the meditation? Meditation is that the chayis and the kid that's invested in the world lachiyosam or akaor bulvad. It's only a reflection of what? Of an infinite power, which is beyond. But it's a meditation, it's an appreciation. We're grasping the Ein Sof because of its conscious revelation. And all of this, as wondrous as it is, it's only ha'oren. So it makes us appreciate what the Ein Sof is. But it's an appreciation born, dafke from Seichel, born from the chayis that's invested in creation. And all of this is ha'oren. So he goes on to say, so in Sof, the meditation here is the infinite, but it's all relative by appreciating creation, and this is beyond. So that's b'chol nafshech. It's like soiv kol almin. It's transcendent, but it's defined as surrounding all the world. So it's appreciated by almin. And the higher you go, the more we appreciate soiv. But then there's Neshama, which is a gift and a hisbonenus. There's still an element of avodah here. He's going to say, but the true, this is all the regel. Till now we described the regel, it's all relative. The true head of the neshama, this is up revealing the neshama, the essence of the neshama that cannot be contained or defined at all. This is the pnim, this is the hadasa sheben neshama. And that is our ahavat b'chol ma'itcha, which he said in the previous maamar is not really his bonus, it's hakora. But fort, it's entertained where in the mind? So look at the doisis here. Shabay these bonus ba'aflo so it itself shumuflo umruma mitzad atzmai. Here the appreciation is not beyond. Beyond is related to that which is beyond, essentially beyond. Words fail, but words fail because there are no words. But that's why it's a hakora, and it comes from the pnimius on the shama, which is unlocked in us when we do give our eser geda, when we give our kaifas. Hainu, loishim muflam oilim is the meditation here. The appreciation is not that God's beyond creation. Elishim mufa be'etzem is essentially beyond. Again, words fail, not measured by finite. The whole union of finite and infinite is all. It's all equal before him, and he's utterly beyond it. Again, he used the word hakorimu. This is a hakora. It's an instinctual connection to the essence of Hashem that comes from the essence of the neshama. Paradoxically, this is even a simple person can and has this. It's at the intellectual levels we differ, but the previous etzem on neshama, the hakora, b'chol ma'itcha, b'shaych to everyone. There's one condition: you just got to give all you got, and then heaven opens you up.
Does he use the term hisbonenus? How is that thing?
Because thought, it's entertained in the mind. Everything is entertained in the mind. Where's the appreciation? I think, therefore I am. Everything is in the mind. Where's this connection happening? And thought, it's a hisbonenus. It's a hisbonenus stripped of all hisbonenus. But it's a hisbonenus. It's an awareness and appreciation. So this connects you to completely beyond the Ishtarshus Be'emes. Beligvul Amiti, that's the Pnimius HaNeshama, the true Beligvul, the true Rosh, not just the relative Rosh down here. Yeah. And that's the Eser Geda, Shenim Shachim B'Lamailo, that the Eibishter gives, Lachli Shleimus Avodah B'Eser Geda Shebekech Atzmi, after we have given everything we need to give. So ki-tשכ es therefore means two things. You have to give everything, including especially the mind, through in godliness, invested in creation, and then the wonder of it all, realizing that Hashem's investure is the merest glimmer of his infinite revelation, and that engenders b'chol nafshecha. And then is the akara, all of this, still not you. That's b'chol ma'itcha. That's the true Ein Sof Mufla Meruma Mitzad Atzmei Be'etzem. In essence, beyond, not just relatively beyond, not measured by any measure at all. And that connection, which is where in the Pnimis HaNeshama feels that and knows that, because it's a chelik l'kam mamash. That's ki-tשכ rosh. That's the Eser Geda that's granted to us. The B'chol Moedcha is a gift that's granted to us through the avodah b'chol ravka v'chol nafshech. Somewhat clear? Yeah? Guys? Good. Let's plow ahead. Ois Gimel. V'yesh l'hoise v'apirish t'sis rosh b'nei Yisrael. To add in understanding of this commandment, shelo yizeh b'vad shen noisef al avodah b'chinas regel sheb'neshama. In addition, what we just said now, that in addition to the avodah of the lower level of the neshama, which is the eser geda shenois adam kech atzmoi, that a person gives of himself, that's his conscious faculties. Tzarich li, and we said that tzarich li is ali avagabala b'chinas hareisha b'neshama. This is granted to us. We have to connect to the true head of the neshama, and that is in brackets again. Shazer inyan eser geda shenois v'lamayla, the gift of the eser geda coming from above, the unlocking of our true rosh. Not the relative rosh that is invested in the body, but the true pnimis neshama. So in addition to all of that, that the avoid of the 10 of consciousness here, has to be in a higher way. Meaning, shall yod yecholim lahagia the bechinas reisha b'neshama. He's saying that the avodah of consciousness has to be in such a way that not you finish that avodah, then you got to get this gift. Then you're granted the gift. You did all you can. Now, the Eibush will unlock for you your pnimis neshama. He's saying no, that the our avodah has to be in such a way that it's a keli for it. Let's see inside. He just finished saying that the regel has to be such that is lifted in the keli for the rosh. Same is also true when the loves be described. Because the loves have to be unrequited. The loves themselves have to be that from these loves of they themselves are in such a way that they will lead to this true essential connection, which means the loves get unrequited, not fulfilled, they're still wanting. He's not satisfied with satisfying and as beautiful as that is. But they themselves, there's a longing, even as I experience you and understand you. That's I appreciate your mystery and I'm connecting to it. It's an isboneness, the aura about you. And that's all very fulfilling, but within all of that is this longing. No, that's still not you. I'm still not connecting that. So the lovers themselves have to lead to b'chol ma'itcha. Yeah. You hear what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say. Okay, Marum is, this is also hinted a little bit further. Gam, bekach, in as much, what's hinted? That the lower lovers themselves can't be stationary levels of fulfillment and satisfaction, but they themselves must be open and lead to the b'chol ma'itcha. So this is hinted in the parsha Rishonah, the Kriyish Manemar, Because what does it say in Parshas Kriyashma? Lo yirak b'chol ma'itcha, but also b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha. If the whole thing is so it needs b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha. Just say b'chol ma'itcha. The answer is that b'chol ma'itcha permeates and suffuses, as it were, b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha. Hainu. Them say the words of the Maimon. Sha'ilu the parsha d'shein the Kriyashma hu. What Kriyashma is adding in the first parsha, which doesn't appear in the second one, b'chol ma'itcha. It's not only that here we have the third level, that doesn't appear in the second parsha, but that changes it. It changes everything. The avoid of the lower loves, which are satisfying, really, they're not. They themselves are not satisfying. They themselves lead to b'chol ma'itcha. So this b'chol levavcha nafshcha is not the same as the avodah b'chol levavchem b'chol nafshchem b'parsha shniya, where there's no b'chol ma'itcha. The second parsha of Shemai is talking about a love that's filling and a love that inspires, so beautiful. But the first parsha, even those loves, is the tzom malacha, is the longing. Shalachein al yedei avodah b'chol levavcha nafshchem b'parsha rishayna. To begin with these loves, the lower levels, they themselves, they lead the Jew to the ultimate connection, because it's not, I love you the way you make me feel. Then that's it. You're happy to remain there. In the love of you and experience, the Hadgosha is you, and therefore leads one ever deeper to the essential connection that is beyond. Whereas the levels of just of all your heart and all your soul, without b'chol ma'itcha, which is conveyed in the second parsha, parsha shniya, shal yoda lo yibayim lo yilu b'chol ma'itcha. They're satisfying loves, they're requited, and they don't lead to b'chol ma'itcha. That is the maila of the b'chol ma'itcha parsha rishayna. And tomorrow, when you have further elaboration in avodah, what this means. Kabbalah's oil, even the b'chol levavcha nafshcha, which is a stira, b'chol levavcha, because I love this. I love it. B'chol nafshcha, and I'm happily giving up my life for it. Happily, because I'm inspired. In all of that, has to be the Kabbalah's oil. And that's the key to b'chol ma'itcha. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem. All right, friends.